Welcome to Wild Dragonflight 101. Talent trees. They're getting completely overhauled, and hot damn do these new talent trees look juicy. So we thought it would be a good idea to dust off the old 101 series and dig into some of the systems that are coming to World of Warcraft Dragonflight. In this video, we go over the new talent tree system, how it works, and why it's an absolute banger for the game. First, let's start with the fact that we're not getting just one talent tree, we're getting two talent trees. There's the class tree, which contains a core set of abilities that are shared between every spec in the class and has a higher proportion of utility options. Then there's the specialization tree, which is primarily focused on enhancing your power in your current role and is where specialization defining abilities and passives are located. You'll first be introduced to the new talent tree at level 10, where you'll be able to put your first point in the class tree. And then at level 11, you'll be able to place your next point in the specialization tree. So basically 1 point in the class tree, then 1 point in the spec tree, so on and so forth, alternating between the two. At level 70, the new max level for Dragonflight, you'll have a total of 31 class points and 30 specialization points. The nodes themselves have a nice little system too. The circles are passives, the squares are abilities, and the octagons contain a multiple choice option, allowing you to even further customize your build. Some nodes have multiple little circles below them, signifying that these nodes can be ranked up with additional points. And each tree has 3 sections that you can't advance past until you have spent a specific number of talent points. This kind of just stops you from rushing to the bottom at early levels, and also makes sure that you grab enough core abilities at the top, which makes your spec work. And finally, you'll be able to freely change out and test different talent builds without any real cost or friction, just like current talents, which is pretty sweet. Going in deeper on each side, the class tree is where you can mix and match different abilities and passives from your current spec, as well as other specializations available to your class. You can go all out and become somewhat of a hybrid, or more realistically, you'll be able to grab a specific ability from another spec to help out on a particular encounter. Things that come to mind are Feral Druids and Guardian Druids having the option to pick up Innervate, which hasn't been possible for several years now. Or Restoration Druids having the option to grab the Skull Bash Interrupt, giving your dungeon groups an extra interrupt, which is really crazy because a traditional interrupt has only ever been available to Shaman healers. Now, the specialization tree is where you'll find more of the primary abilities and passives for your role. Things like the AoE grip Gorfiend's Grasp for Blood Death Knights, or the massive AoE dragon ability Frostworm's Fury for Frost Death Knights. There's some specialization specific utility options like the Solar Beam Interrupt for Balanced Druid, but for the most part, these nodes are tailored around increasing your player power and defining your damage rotation. At first, you might think that the class and specialization trees are pretty much the same talents and powers we've always had available to us, but that's just not the case. Currently, there's more abilities, more passives, and far more ways to mix and match than we've ever had in World of Warcraft. This means you'll have the freedom to build your character the way that you like, but it also means that there's a chance that you can make a build that's very, very bad. To combat this, Blizzard designed the talent trees with core defining abilities at the start of the tree, making them easier to obtain, and they also added paths to help players create positive synergies along the way. And it has to be stated that keeping the two trees separate is a genius way of ensuring that you have some choice in both areas without feeling compelled to give up all of your utility or off-spec buttons in order to maximize your player power. Now, what's this mean for leveling? Good question. Other than the starting abilities you obtain before you access the system at level 10, the vast majority of abilities are obtained through the talent trees. As you can imagine, this is a massive game changer for leveling, as much more of your class is represented in the trees, making you feel like you're actively selecting your power-ups as you level up instead of them just being automatically rewarded to you, sometimes without you even knowing it. With all of the leveling changes that happened in Shadowlands, like the new 1 to 10 experience with Exile's Reach, the updated 10 to 60 experience allowing you to pick your expansion to level in, and now the addition of these new talent trees, I feel confident that WoW's leveling experience is going to be really great. Probably the best that we've seen in a long time. For max level players, since there's 61 points to play with, you might feel a little overwhelmed with all these decisions, but let's be honest, it was kind of a pain in the butt to have all of your power come from different places. You had your talents here, your soulbinds here, your conduits here, your legendaries everywhere, and that's not even mentioning abilities, currencies, and tier sets. Which leads me to what is probably the best thing about these new talent trees is that most of these systems are now displayed on one screen, making it so much easier to create viable builds. And since you can swap them whenever you want and there's no cost associated, you're going to be able to test out a seemingly infinite amount of builds. And once you find one that you like, you can save it as a template or a loadout and share it with your friends. Of course, this means that the high-end community will probably have some pretty perfect builds to share themselves, which makes this loadout system even better because you can quickly change from fun to optimal in just a few clicks. This new talent system is pretty exciting, and I imagine that the team is going to be working hard to create pass and builds that are balanced and fun while also giving you the ability to do some wacky stuff. And that's everything you need to know about the new talent trees. Our Patreon supporters get these videos early, so if you're interested in that, click the links below. Peace.